Hello and welcome to Orbiting Brick. And today's video, we're back in Realism Overhaul, and we're starting off in the vehicle assembly building with a strange vehicle in front of you. Yes, I'm sending a Saturn V to Saturn, asterisk. So yeah, that as you saw, that Saturn V, it's only 5 meters in length, since the Saturn V parts are rescalable. More on that later. Now we can now look at the rest of the vehicle, where small correction stage below the Saturn V, and then a Centaur, because Centaur stage is the best rocket stage ever made. And then from that, it takes a Soviet turn, and yeah, we have NK-43 second stage, and 6 NK-33s on the first stage. I tried to make this using different engines, but it just wouldn't end up working, and this was the ultimate design. And yeah, I ended up just embracing this and making it a sort of Americanized N1. You can have the flared boat tail for the first stage. Speaking of that, we can now see that we're going to launch. And nominal liftoff. And so, I'm going to be using the surface mode of Smart SS. I am unsure as to what makes this mode surface mode. I guess because it's relative to the surface. Which sounds really obvious, but anyways. And so, this video, I have to admit, well, first I started messing around with the procedural Saturn V parts as they move roll, and realized that I could make them significantly smaller. And I made this small model Saturn V, but I couldn't figure out how to turn that into a video. And then this idea came to me in a dream of sending it to Saturn. And yeah, this ended up being the result of that. And so, we are currently having a nominal ascent so far. I tried to get to 45 degrees by 20 kilometers, and now by 60 kilometers we're almost horizontal. I'm aiming for a slightly higher orbit than is absolutely necessary. The atmosphere in Realism Overhaul stops at 140 kilometers. I believe I aimed for 170 kilometers, since it's gonna be a long transfer burn all the way to Saturn. And so, as you can see, we are continuing to burn. You can see the Saturn V there. Now notes, the engines on the first stage, and the, well, I guess I should say S1C, since it can be confused with different first stages. And the S1C are just some random small engines I forgot the name of. And there is no fuel on the Saturn V itself, it's just purely decorative. I've even clipped a RTG into the S4B stage. But yeah, there's no decouplers or other engines on it. Basically, it's just a Saturn V shaped object, not really a Saturn V, arguably. And now, we're getting to plotting our maneuver, and of course I'm using Transfer Window Planner. Now originally, I would have done a Jupiter gravity assist to Saturn. However, I suck at gravity assist, and I realized that the trajectory I would take would be slower and take about the same amount of delta V as doing it direct. However, what I'm not doing direct is this transfer burn, as I found that it would be too long of a burn if taken in one burn, and yeah, we'd end up entering the atmosphere. So we first do a burn with the second stage. I put some knowledge motors on it so we can reignite that NK-43. One of the configs that have multiple ignitions. And once that's done, we raise our Paropsis using RCS, and then finish our transfer using the Centaur stage. And now, you might notice I don't have communication data in the top left corner. That's because I don't want to deal with communication issues right now. This is only my second real mission in Realism Overhaul, and so yeah, I turned off the need for communication for probe control. A bit cheaty, I realize. I don't really have the time right now to set up full communications that work for one mission. So as you saw, we detached the Centaur stage, and have now left Earth. There's a good reason for detaching the stage whilst it still has fuel in it. First off, the fuel would boil off before we could use it, and second, the avionics on that Centaur stage, which actually are the avionics for the entire rocket up to that point, drain enough electricity where we would run out of power before reaching Saturn. Anyways, 2 years into flight, we're now gonna do a mid-course correction. And we accidentally overshot by a few days, so I would have set the mover back a bit, and eventually we would do our burn. For some reason, Kerbal Engineer Redux said we had a thrust weight ratio in the 4000s. We didn't, as you can see by how slow that was, even at 2 times speed. But anyways, we now arrive at Saturn after, I believe, a total of 6 years in flight. Yeah, not sure I got 6 from, I guess. Yeah, 4 years, 200 days. I guess that's a one. I'm not sure where I got 6 years from. But yeah, after 4 years, we are finally at Saturn. And yeah, this is just a flyby. And yeah, again, this idea came to me in a dream, and I really didn't think this much. I didn't think it through much beyond that. And so I wanted to get a nice close structure. So we're gonna be going within a few, I believe within 1,400 kilometers of the surface that Saturn is designated, which is a completely arbitrary number. The surface, I mean. I guess by altitude, it shows something that looked like it'd be out of the atmosphere. Anyways, I guess we can admire the view from here. You can just see how far away we are from the inner solar system. Yeah, we now approach the rings. Yeah, I guess I can let the visuals speak for themselves. Also, speaking of sounds, for some reason, every few seconds while time warping, I would get chatterer. I definitely pronounced that weird. Yeah, the chatterer, the signal loss, a sound effect, which was extremely annoying. Anyways, we're now 75,000 kilometers away from, again, the arbitrary surface of Saturn. I also I did consider making this a impact trajectory. I decided against that. And now I also do not have Planet Shine on this install, as apparently that wasn't in the recommended mods for Realism Overhaul. So yeah, this is now a pitch black celestial body below us. As we now approach Paropsis, you can see the camera reorientation. Also, I want to comment that the small antenna that is used as the launch escape tower actually is, for some reason, enough to communicate all the way back to Earth from Saturn. I don't understand real antennas, apparently. Anyways, we are now at Paropsis, which not as nice of a view as what we got before and even after this. And yeah, we now start to recede from the planet. So this is a really interesting perspective on the rings. But yeah, the rings in this are just a flat texture, and pretty soon we'll just pass through them. In fact, once I resume time warp, you can very quickly see. Just a change of camera view. Yeah, this is actually a really nice shot from here. I believe this is about when I got the thumbnail screenshot. You can fact check that, since presumably you saw the thumbnail of the video you clicked on. I'm pretty sure this is where I got the thumbnail shot. And there we go, passing through the rings. And so now we need to continue our trajectory and recede from Saturn, and we're now on an escape trajectory from the solar system, as our flyby gave us enough extra velocity to again leave the sun's gravity entirely. But yeah, we slowly leave the Saturnian system, and so just one more thing. The Centaur upper stage is also, well, it was on a similar trajectory, but it's actually going to continue on a solar orbit as a Paropsis near Ceres, which could be something to work with in the future. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and goodbye.